On September 28th, Hurricane Ian made landfall with 155-mile-an-hour wind speeds, storm surges reaching 12 feet. It was a Category 4 hurricane, one of the largest that's hit the west coast of Florida in quite some time, causing major destruction and disturbance. Today's discussion is how resiliency and the change of Florida building codes allowed many of these structures and communities to recover quickly from such a devastating event.
Greg and I have been practicing architecture here in Florida for over 25 years. We've seen a lot of impacts from various hurricanes, and significant improvements have been made to the codes, resulting in significant requirements for hardening of structures. And one thing we've come to respect and appreciate is the importance of understanding the impacts of the forces of nature when you're designing along the coast.
Moving to Florida in 1999, there was a change in progress from multiple building codes in the Southern Florida Building Code, standard building codes, to a unified Florida code that took effect in 2002, which tried to incorporate the high velocity zones of South Florida, as well as the flatlands and the winds associated with the balance of Florida.
The effects of coming to a unified code also allowed the industry to invest in research and testing centers that could be utilized statewide. This benefited not only the product manufacturers, but also benefits the contractors, us as the design professionals, and the insurance industry. Having that unified code and unified standards has allowed the state to adopt procedures, inspection methods, and the results of that are proven in the outcome of the storms.
One example that we went and take a look at after Ian came through was a project down in Sanibel Island for a client of ours. It's a testament to the resiliency of the building that was built in concert with the Florida Building Code as well as FEMA requirements. The project was built up 3 or 4 feet above the grade in the local area. It incorporated products that's components and cladding, the roofing, the siding, windows that are all designed and tested to meet the wind speeds and the pressures. That project is a bank building in the center of the island. The island was completely covered in water. The building was able to be opened within days after the storm with very minimal damage to it, some cosmetic damage. And in the adjacent vicinity, there are other structures that were built before the latest Florida building codes, and they are either completely demolished and removed or non-recoverable.
Structures built prior to '97, it was obvious. Not only did they suffer flood damage, but catastrophic envelope failure, resulting in total structural loss.
The resiliency of the newer buildings contributes to the long-term economic status of the island. The buildings that were readily occupiable after the storm have minimal damage, some cleanup in the yards.
The buildings that we had done recently were set at the prescribed FEMA flood elevation, and the floodwaters in most cases didn't even submerge the site, much less the building. That was encouraging to see.
As professionals, we need to educate our clients. Money spent up front is a long-term saving for them. Lowering insurance costs, less repairs.
Once they see a storm event like Ian impact that property, and then they understand the benefit of being able to reopen and reoccupy that structure within a matter of days, that investment is necessary. The state of Florida has more access to waterfront environments than any other state in the lower 48. The state has done a great job in implementing regulations and codes that allow us to build in these environments with resiliency and sustainability in mind. The impact of these storms on the communities will diminish as more modern structure and modern infrastructure is put into place.